Welcome and thanks for clicking on the video. A few may be offended by what I'm about to say, but there's your warning. Okay, so the question, is anime harmful to kids' mental state? The short answer, no. And in my personal opinion, I don't believe that it's harmful either. But I do believe that it becomes harmful the older they get, and especially with teens and young adults. So I met a lady while I was at the card shop, and she was buying her son some Yu-Gi-Oh cards. And then there was an anime on screen, and the anime in question was Food Wars. She was a little bit outraged by the slight nudity of the characters and some of the fetish signals that was going on. So making that story short, I pulled her to the side and tried to explain to her about anime. And now I'm here trying to do the same thing with those online, parents mostly, trying to explain to them exactly what anime is. Well, as you can see on screen, this is the short definition of what anime is. And if you would like to know more about it or have a little bit more deeper detailing to that, then just let me know in the comments. I'll make a video about that. Those that do know what anime is basically know it's just manga brought to life. But we're here to talk about the harmfulness that it brings, and is it harmful to kids. As I said, anime doesn't really become harmful until teen and maybe adult years. Children usually don't catch on to what's happening on screen, and they are usually watching it because their friends are watching it, and they usually really like the characters on screen. When I was coming up, anime was not as pervy as it is now, but it still had a bit of perviness in it, just really nowhere near to as much. The sad truth is, just about all anime have some type of pervy in it, but not all have a slight hint of nudity or full nudity. They have violence and abuse, but also not all of them. Most mainstream animes a lot of kids are exposed to, they are not very harmful at all, but I would not recommend getting them Crunchyroll without some type of parental guidance. There's other ways for them to watch anime, and I think sticking to mainstream ones are the better choice for kids. Sadly, we do still have some that are a bit much, but as I said, most kids won't really understand what's going on screen. The growth of a child is mostly in the hands of the parent, and I would say limit how much time they watch anime, just as if you would with anything else. Anime doesn't make your child into a pervert or introvert just by watching it. That's just bad parenting. Or have any type of mental damage on them. Just minimize their watch time. Anything can do that to a child if they're not monitored enough or given enough guidance by their parents. Like I said at the beginning, as they get older and out of the supervision of their parents and others, they start to exploring more with their hormones and stuff. I do believe around about this time, it becomes a bit more harmful. Anime can make their attention span very bad. It can also make them more inclined to stay in their rooms and away from other people. They may also become addicted to it, because anime have this very addictive thing going for itself, because they always leave you on cliffhangers and they always leave you with episodes to watch. It's just tons of them, 25, 30 episodes in season with some of them. Anime can also create a lot of social issues and mental depression too. Some become way too invested with the character on screen and start to feel like the character is just like them, so they want to be like them. They also tend to surround themselves with more internet friends than people in real life. A lot of them do this because of the feeling of not being like everyone else, and they just feel alone. Online, they can find a lot more anime lovers and a lot more people that's into the same thing that they are, but this usually becomes a bad thing because they're dealing with people with the same suffering as them, and it just make a bad habit worse. Anime is very pervy, and it also can lead to a porn addiction or a very sexist view on the opposite gender. It can also create confusion in their sexuality and what gender they are. They also start to believe that what they see in the anime can actually exist in the real world. The reason for that being is because anime tends to explain everything and try to make sense out of everything, even stuff that is just completely bizarre. For girls, it often seems to push them to be more sexually proactive and to start presenting themselves in a more sexual manner. And for boys, it usually have them to see women as a sexual object and lose respect for a lot of women and see women as lesser than men. Granted, not all animes are like this, and not everybody that's watching this takes that away from the anime. Not all girls go that route, and not all boys go that route, but it seems to be more often than it is not. Whether you want to agree with that or not, anime has a lot of sexism and a lot of objective behavior, and this could be very influential to the watcher. This also leads to a huge interest in hentai, and that could become very addictive as well. It's very, very, very hard to not become interested in hentai if you're watching anime. This also does not go for all teens or all young adults, but the mental of this does lead to a lot of depression, a lot of feeling insignificant, a lot of interesting fetishes, and a lot of other things that come along with that. We are already going through a lot, but anime can open up the door more often and earlier for most. During those years, it's not easy to be very headstrong, especially if you care about what other people think about you, which is why anime can be very influential towards the wrong things instead of the good things that it could also be teaching you. Anime is not all bad. But a lot of the times, most watchers just get invested with the characters because they seem to be very relatable and relatable to their struggles. This also in turn leads to a stronger addiction to anime. But sometimes this can also be helpful for some. It's not all bad. Some that deal with this depression and pent up sexual issues, in fact, are helped by watching animes. As I said, teens, children, and young adults go through a lot while growing up, and many times than not, anime actually helps some of them with their darker urges and fight back against suicidal thoughts and a lot of other dark things that are going through their head. Being able to have some type of outlet or even just getting their mind off their day-to-day struggles really helps a lot with most of the watchers. Anime also help teach some how to take care of people and how to also deal with other people's problems. It also helps set boundaries on certain way that other people feel. It can also help with being more compassionate and appreciative towards others, such as your friends, family, strangers, and also helping you with your current way of living. Anime is not all bad, as I have said, but it's not all good either. I just think that we all need to start understanding ourselves and others more, and anime can really help out with that for most people. Some lessons that are taught by real people just don't send the message home to children, teens, and young adults. But when they watch anime, that exact same lesson can start to make sense to them because they're a lot more interested in what's going on screen, and they seem to understand how it's being presented to them through the anime. Watching anime has helped some people save their lives, other people's lives. It's also helped them learn how to take care of people that's dealing with drug addiction, how to help people through their bad and depressing thoughts, their suicidal thoughts. So as I said many times, watching anime is not all bad. A lot of people take different things from anime depending on who the person is. And they also take very good lessons away from it that help in their day-to-day lives and help out with other people's lives as well. I could go on about this a bit more, but I'm going to just end the video here. But I would love to know what y'all think about what I've said and what y'all think about anime. Just leave it down in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share the video. I would really appreciate it to help to get my channel out there so I could do more videos like this. Peace.